Blue, so much blue. The vast expanse of the ocean stretches out endlessly, like a giant, never-ending blueberry smoothie. It's a sight that can be both mesmerizing and maddening. For those who spend their days on the open sea, the relentless blue can become a monotonous backdrop to their daily lives. It's enough to make a sailor go bonkers. Imagine being surrounded by nothing but water and sky, day in and day out. The initial thrill of adventure quickly gives way to a sense of isolation and tedium. You start to wonder if the fish are laughing at you. Hours on deck, staring at the endless horizon, can really mess with your mind. The horizon becomes a distant, unchanging line, a constant reminder of the vastness of the ocean and the smallness of the ship. You start to think, is this what a goldfish feels like? You start to see things. The mind, desperate for stimulation, begins to play tricks on you. Shadows on the water become mysterious creatures, and the play of light on the waves can create illusions that are both fascinating and unsettling. Did I just see a mermaid, or was that a really big fish? Not actual things, mind you. More like figments of your imagination, born out of the sheer boredom and isolation. These hallucinations are harmless, but they serve as a reminder of the mind's need for variety and engagement. Maybe I should start a conversation with Wilson. My volleyball. More like weird, funny thoughts bubbling up like a pot of seawater on the boil. The mind starts to wander, conjuring up bizarre and whimsical ideas to fill the void. What if the ocean is just one big soup and we're all the noodles? Welcome back to the Cruise Ship Safety and Security channel. It's downright comical how the simplest things can balloon into epic sources of stress when you're floating in the middle of nowhere. The ocean, while mesmerizing and vast, can also be a playground for the most absurd fears. You'd think that being surrounded by endless water would make life simpler, but oh no, it often does the exact opposite. Did I leave the stove on? It's a question that haunts many, but for a sailor, it becomes an obsession. The thought of a potential fire hazard back home with no way to check or fix it can be maddening. You replay the morning in your head, trying to remember if you turned the knob to off, but the memory is always just out of reach. Is the cat plotting world domination? It sounds absurd, but when you're isolated from the world, your mind starts to wander. You imagine your cat, usually so docile, suddenly becoming a mastermind of chaos. You picture it knocking over plants, shredding curtains, and generally causing mayhem, all while you're helplessly adrift at sea. Did that parking ticket I misplaced finally catch up with me? Bureaucratic nightmares don't take a break just because you're on a ship. You worry about fines piling up, your car being towed, or worse, a warrant out for your arrest. It's a ridiculous scenario, but the isolation amplifies every little concern until it feels like a looming disaster. These are the burning questions that plague a sailor's mind when the ocean's lullaby starts to sound a little too much like a siren song. The gentle rocking of the ship, which should be soothing, instead becomes a backdrop for your spiraling thoughts. Each wave seems to whisper a new worry. Each gust of wind carries a fresh anxiety. It's like your brain knows you can't do a single thing about any of it, so it decides to torture you with hypothetical scenarios and domestic disasters that may or may not be unfolding back home. You become a prisoner of your own mind, trapped in a cycle of what-ifs and maybes. Let's be real, scrubbing barnacles off the hull is about as glamorous as cleaning your cat's litter box. But hey, even sailors need a little daydreaming to keep their sanity, right? One minute you're knee-deep in seawater, the next you're in a tuxedo, holding an Oscar, thanking the Academy for your documentary, Barnacles, the Silent Threat. Ah, seagulls, the true jesters of the sea. These birds are the ultimate pranksters, always ready to pull off their next big stunt. Whether you're a salty sea dog or a landlubber seeing the ocean for the first time, seagulls make sure you know they're around. Their loud squawks, their brazen antics, and their sheer nerve make them the unforgettable comedians of the coast. They're like the clowns of the bird world, always up to some hilarious mischief. You might catch them playing games with each other, chasing one another in the sky, or even engaging in what looks like a game of tag. Their playful nature is downright infectious, and it's impossible not to chuckle when you see them in action. One minute they're dive-bombing tourists for a stolen chip, causing absolute mayhem on the beach as people scramble to protect their snacks. It's like a scene straight out of a slapstick comedy, with seagulls swooping down with military precision, often leaving their human targets bewildered and amused. The next, they're performing synchronized swimming routines alongside the ship. It's almost as if they've been practicing their moves, gliding gracefully on the water in perfect harmony. Watching them, you might think you're witnessing a well-rehearsed performance. And don't even get me started on their love of shiny objects. These birds are like magpies, always on the lookout for something that glitters. Whether it's a piece of foil, a shiny shell, or even a lost piece of jewelry, seagulls will snatch it up and carry it away. I swear, I once saw a seagull make off with a captain's dentures. It was one of those moments that you can't quite believe is happening until it's over. The captain was in the middle of a conversation when the seagull swooped down and snatched the dentures right out of his hand. The poor bloke had to eat his gruel through a straw for the rest of the voyage. But you know what? Despite the inconvenience, it became a story that everyone on the ship would tell and retell, laughing each time. It was a shared experience that brought the crew closer together. As annoying as they can be, those feathered fiends are also a constant source of amusement. Their antics provide endless entertainment, and their boldness is something to be admired. They remind us not to take life too seriously and to find joy in the little things. Ever notice how the ocean looks different every day? It's like it's got a mood ring on. Sometimes it's a shimmering turquoise paradise, like it's saying, "Hey, come take a dip." Other times it's a churning gray beast, like it's had a bad day and wants to swallow the horizon whole. But hey, that's half the fun, isn't it? Keeps us on our toes and gives us something to laugh about. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into maritime security and life at sea. It costs you nothing. Unless, of course, you would like to buy us a coffee. If you do, you can find the link in our channel description or by visiting buymecoffee.com/cruise-ship. Yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah. Do anything.